In this episode of Adobe Spotlight presented by UEN, we're going to focus on a wonderful software tool called Adobe Premiere Rush. This is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud suite that almost all schools in Utah have access to. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Adobe Premiere, which is a professional level video and movie editing software. It can be used to create elaborate productions. Well, Adobe Premiere Rush is a similar tool, but Adobe has made it much more user-friendly for the typical user. This makes it a really good choice for use in the secondary classroom. So let's jump right in and take a look at Adobe Premiere Rush. In order to access Adobe Rush, you need to have the Adobe Creative Cloud suite installed on your computer. On a Mac computer, if it's installed, you'll see the Creative Cloud symbol here at the top. If you don't see it there, you can do a search here until you find the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. On a Windows computer, you might have a desktop icon that takes you to Creative Cloud, or there might be a symbol here toward the bottom right, or you might have the Adobe Creative Cloud symbol down here across the bottom of the screen. Once you click on Creative Cloud, it should open up to a screen that looks similar to this. And you can simply type Rush in the search, find the Premiere Rush desktop app, click on it, and click to install it on your computer. Once it's installed, simply click Open, and Rush will start up. Now that Rush is open, I can begin the process of creating a new video project. Here in my Adobe Rush welcome screen, I can see a list of the projects I've worked on in the past, and I could click on any one of these to open it up and continue working, or I can click here to create a brand new project completely from scratch. The first thing you'll want to do when creating a new project is to name that project. So I just click here on the project name. I'll change it from Untitled to Yellowstone. Tap Enter, and now I've set the name of my project. You might also want to click on this gear icon to get the settings for your project. What aspect ratio would you like for your project? Do you want your video to be a square, 1:1, or 4:5? In most cases, you'll want 16:9. There are also some effect options that you might want to test out. I'll just select 16:9 and click OK. The next step is to select media to create a new project. By default, Adobe Rush is looking at my desktop trying to find media that I might want to use in my project. But I've downloaded some videos to my Downloads folder, and those are the ones I want to use. Here's the folder with the media I want to use, so I'll just double click on that, and it brings up one image and 4 videos that I've selected, and I'm going to use these to make my Adobe Rush video. At this point, I'll just click on the different media items in the order in which I think I'll use them in the project. Now I can change my mind at any time, but I think I'd like to start with this video first, then move on to this one, then to this one, then my photo, and then finally this video here. Now that I've selected my media, I'll click Create, and Adobe Rush is importing those specific videos and images into a brand new project for me to work on. At this point, I'm presented with the Adobe Premiere Rush workspace. And let's take a close look at each component of the workspace. Here at the bottom of the screen, I have the timeline. You can see that this playhead is right now set to 00, but I could move that ahead to 30 seconds if I want to, or to 3 minutes or 4 minutes and 30 seconds. But this video footage that I have down here below, and this playhead and the timeline associated with it, that is how I can advance and also rewind my video as I'm working on it. I can click down here on the timeline on specific video or image clips, and you can see that they're now highlighted in orange. Once I select a clip, I can go to either edge of the clip to click and drag to trim out the beginning or the end of that video. In the case of images, you can see that by default an image comes in and only takes up a brief moment in the video. If I'd like to, I can click and drag to reorder the videos and images to whatever order I would like them to be in. As I work on my project, if I decide I'd like to add more media to this project, I can do so here in the upper left by clicking the Add Media button, and I can select my own media, I can add graphics, audio, and even voiceovers. If I click this button underneath the plus sign, it gives me an overview of all of the media that's in my project. Let's close that and look now down here in the lower left corner at some of the tools that we have that we can use as we build our Rush projects. If I select one of my media items in the timeline, I can then click and drag the playhead to a specific point in the video clip, and then I could click this button here, the scissors, to split my clip in half. So now this longer clip is actually two separate clips, and I can click and drag to place the second half of the clip somewhere else in my project. Another tool that we have in the lower left corner is this duplicate button. Whatever you have selected, if you click the duplicate button, you'll get another copy of that media item. Next we have the delete button. It's self-explanatory. Whatever you've selected will be deleted. Next we have the expand audio button. When you click that button, notice what happens. The audio portion of the videos is expanded so that I can see the high points and the low points in the audio tracks. Finally, in the lower left corner, we have the Control Tracks button. When we click that, it shows us all of the possible tracks that we can use or have used in our project. You can see that there are slots for 4 video tracks that you can layer one on top of the next. We also have space for 3 audio tracks in addition to the audio that's part of the videos that you put into the project. These video and audio tracks can be muted. They can also be locked, unlocked, and the video portions can be hidden and unhidden. At this point, I would like to watch my video and get a sense of how it's going so far. So I'm going to click this button a few times to go back to the very beginning of my video. I can now click the play button to preview it, and I could watch the entire video. If I want to skip ahead, I can. And after watching this, I've decided that I would like to have some background music as part of my project. To add audio, all I need to do is go here to the upper left, click the plus sign, and I can click the audio button to choose from a few audio clips that are included in Adobe Rush. If I want more than just these 3, I can click the More button to browse through all of those audio clips. I can also search for a specific theme, and then I can click Play to test out a track. If I like the song, I can click on it, click Add, and it is now part of my project. Let's close this window, and now you can see one of my audio tracks is filled with this song. I can click and drag to move that song further on into my project, or if I want, I can have it begin at the very start of the video. Now that I have 2 different sources of audio, the video and the song that I just added, notice that I can click on one or the other, and then click this button here to expand the audio of just that part of my project. If I want to focus more on the song, I click on the song, click this button to expand the song. In addition to these tools that we have here, on the right side of the screen, we have some more tools that we can use to help us build our projects. The first symbol that we have here is the graphics symbol. After clicking the button, I can click Add Graphic, and I can choose from titles, transition graphics, and overlays. Notice that these are just a few of the options you have. You can click the More button to get even more options. I'm going to select this circular reveal title. I select it and click Add, and the title is added on its own layer in my project. I can then click and drag to put that title exactly where I want it to show up. If I want to, I can even drag it to the beginning of my project on the same layer as my video. If I do that though, notice that the video title will have a black background. Meanwhile, if I put the same title on top of my video in another layer, now when the video plays, the title appears on top of the video footage. In order to change the text on the title graphics, simply make sure that the playhead is on top of the title graphics. You can click on it as well, and then simply type. Now that I'm done typing in the title, I'll click away from that and then back on it, and you can see that the text is recorded there. Let's test it out. I'll move the playhead back to the beginning, click play. And I'm happy with how that turned out. Let's look now at the second tool in the upper right corner. This is the Effects tool. With the Effects options, I can easily add transitions between clips. Right now there's no transition between these 2 clips, but I could click and drag Dissolve onto the timeline between these 2 clips, and now, when I play the video, you can see there was a dissolve effect from one video clip to the next. If you want the transition to last longer, You can click and drag this duration slider so that it's easier for people to notice the transition. Let's try another transition. I'll try push right, and I'll drop it right here between these two clips. When I click play, that's what we get. In addition to these transition options, there are some other options that you can try out as well. The next tool that you need to be aware of is the color tool. If you click on this button, it gives you options for color. So for example, I could make this clip into a black and white video just by clicking here on this particular color filter. Now when I press play, it looks like a black and white movie. There are many other filters that you can try that can change the look and feel of your project. Our next tool in the upper right is the speed tool. With a clip selected, I can use the speed tool to change the speed of that particular clip. I'm going to increase it pretty high. You can see that now this clip that used to take 1 minute now takes about half a minute. When we play the video, it goes much faster. Underneath the speed options, we have audio options. Let's say I decide that my music is a little too loud and distracting. I can click on the audio clip and then use these audio settings to lower the volume of that clip of music. You can see that it changed here at the bottom because I changed the option here. You can also mute audio, and we do have some other advanced options as well. The last tool we have in the upper right is the transform tool. Using these options, you can transform the video portion of your project. You can make it fill the screen by clicking this button, or just make sure that all of the video fits in the screen window. You can also use these tools to change the horizontal position of your video, the vertical position. You can rotate the video and change its opacity. And the nice thing is you can do all of that without having to click and drag on the video itself. I'm going to undo those changes. It's also possible to crop the top of your video, the bottom, the left, and the right side of your video. So those are the most common tools that we have inside of Adobe Rush, and we can use these to make some really good professional looking video. One of the best things about Adobe Rush is that it's constantly saving your work to the Creative Cloud. What that means is, if my computer shuts off suddenly, I don't lose my work. Also, if I X out of Rush, and then I just go back in to the Creative Cloud and open Rush again, my project will be ready to resume right where I left off. I just need to click the particular project, open it up, and I can resume editing. Now, Adobe Premiere Rush is also available on mobile devices, iPhones, iPads, etc. And you can be signed in with your account into 2 different devices at the same time. So what this means is that you could shoot footage on a phone using Adobe Rush, make a few simple edits, and then with the same account but on a different device, let's say a desktop or laptop computer, you could pull up that same project and continue to work, maybe do some fine-tuning to your project. So you should definitely check out Adobe Rush on mobile devices. When you're finished editing your video and want to finalize it, all you need to do is click the share button in the upper left, make sure it's named properly, and then decide how you want to share the video. Do you want to share it to YouTube, Facebook, or other options? If so, just turn on these switches, and then you'll need to sign into each of those accounts and press Export to send your finished video to those services. In many cases, instead of sending it to a social media site, you'll want to just produce the video and compile it on your computer locally. So I've selected local, made sure the name of the file is set properly, and I've noticed where it will be saved to and the approximate size of the project. There are some advanced settings that you can check out here, but when you're ready, just click Export, and at this point, Adobe Rush is pulling together all of the content for my project. All of the audio, the video, the titles, the transitions, all of these items that are separate are being compiled together into one file that can then be shared. It can be edited in any video editing program. It could be burned to DVD if you would like. You can send it to YouTube. You can share it through Zoom. The finished product is going to be a real video that is independent of Adobe Rush. When the video finishes compiling or rendering, it's placed in the folder where you had it saved. You can click this View in Finder button to pull it up as well. And here's my video. I can double click on this to open it up. I could go full screen, press play. This is now an independent video. and I can skip ahead through it if I want to, but this video is now ready to be uploaded or shared or used however I would like to use it. From time to time, UEN and also other organizations sponsor video contests for teachers and also for students. And Adobe Rush could be the perfect tool to help you and or your students to create videos for those contests. Thanks for watching this episode of Adobe Spotlight presented by UEN, and I hope you enjoy using Adobe Rush.